List of religious populations.
This is a list of religious populations by proportion and population. Estimates made by reliable sources differ. The CIA's World Factbook gives the population as 7,021,836,029 and the distribution of religions as Christian 33.39%, Muslim 22.74%, Hindu 13.8%, Buddhist 6.77%, Sikh 0.35%, Jewish 0.22%, Baha'i 0.11%, other religions 10.95%, non-religious 9.66%, atheists 2.01%.
Adherent estimates.
Adherents.com says sizes shown are approximate estimates, and are here mainly for the purpose of ordering the groups, not providing a definitive number.
Notes.
These figures may incorporate populations of secular nominal adherents as well as syncretist worshippers, although the concept of syncretism is disputed by some. Non-religious includes agnostic, atheist, secular humanist, and people answering none or no religious preference. Half of this group is theistic but non-religious. According to a 2012 study by Gallup International, 59% of the world said that they think of themselves as religious person, 23% think of themselves as not religious, whereas 13% think of themselves as convinced atheists. Chinese traditional religion is described as the common religion of the majority Chinese culture, a combination of Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism, as well as the traditional non-scriptural local practices and beliefs. For Eastern religions such as Buddhism, Taoism, Confucianism, Shinto or animism etc., people often have religions which are a mix of belief systems. This leads to the unusually large uncertainty in the calculations for Buddhism. The smaller number of approximately 500 million represents traditional Buddhists, have taken refuge in the three jewels, those following all of the precepts of Buddhism laid down by the Buddha, whereas the larger number of 1.2 billion includes natural Buddhists, as well as secular nominal Buddhists, lacking specific ceremony, as long as they do not profess belief in another religion. Main article, Buddhism by country. Juche is not generally considered a religion, as it is a political belief system. Some sources call it a political religion.
By proportion. Christians.
Countries with the greatest proportion of Christians from Christianity by country, as of 2010. Vatican City 100%, Pitcairn Islands 100%, 100% Seventh-day Adventist, Samoa 99%, Romania 99%, American Samoa 98.3%, Malta 98.1%, mostly Roman Catholic, Venezuela 98%, 96% Roman Catholic, Greece 98%, 95% Greek Orthodox, Marshall Islands 97.2%, Tonga 97.2%, San Marino 97%, 97% Roman Catholic, Paraguay 96.9%, mostly Roman Catholic, Peru 96.5%, mostly Roman Catholic, El Salvador 96.4%, Kiribati 96%, Federated States of Micronesia 96%, Barbados 95.1%, Papua New Guinea 94.8%, East Timor 94.2%, Armenia 93.5%, mostly Armenian Apostolic, Philippines 93%.
Muslims.
Countries with the greatest proportion of Muslims from Islam by country, as of 2010, figures excluding foreign workers in parentheses. Saudi Arabia 100%, 90 to 95% Sunni, 5 to 10% Shia, Maldives 100%, mostly Sunni, Mauritania 100%, mostly Sunni, Turkey 99.8%, mostly Sunni, Somalia 99.8%, mostly Sunni, Afghanistan 99%, mostly Sunni, 20% Shia, Yemen 99.1%, 99.9%, 65 to 70% Sunni, 30 to 35% Shia, Morocco 98.7%, mostly Sunni, Algeria 98.3%, mostly Sunni, Iran 98%, mostly Shia, Tunisia 98%, mostly Sunni, Comoros 98%, mostly Sunni, Sudan 97%, mostly Sunni, Libya 96.6%, 99%, Sunni, Pakistan 96.4%, 85 to 90% Sunni, 10 to 15% Shia, Iraq 95%, 60 to 65% Shia, 33 to 40% Sunni, Djibouti 94%, mostly Sunni, Niger 93%, mostly Sunni, Bangladesh 89.4%, Sunni, Egypt 89.3%, Sunni. Remarks: because officially Muslim governments, such as Saudi Arabia, Iran, Sudan, Somalia, Afghanistan, Pakistan and Persian Gulf states, that often forcibly suppress other religious beliefs rule a number of traditionally Islamic countries, the figures for these other religious groups could be higher than reported in those nations. While conversion to Islam is among its most supported tenets, conversion from Islam to another religion is considered to be the sin of apostasy. According to the Hadith, and in some countries it is subject to the penalty of death. See freedom of religion by country and apostasy in Islam.
Buddhists.
Countries with the greatest proportion of Buddhists included other folk religions, from Buddhism by country, as of 2013. Cambodia 97%, Theravada, 93% practicing, Japan 96%, Mahayana, 36% practicing, Thailand 95%, Theravada, 93% practicing, Taiwan 93%, Mahayana, 35% practicing, Mongolia 93%, Vajrayana, 53% practicing, Myanmar 90%, Theravada, 80% practicing, Hong Kong 90%, Mahayana, 15% practicing, Bhutan 84%, Vajrayana, 75% practicing, Macau 80%, Mahayana, 17% practicing, Vietnam 75%, Mahayana, 10% practicing, Christmas Island 75%, Mahayana, 36% practicing, Sri Lanka 70%, Theravada, 69% practicing, Laos 67%, Theravada, 65% practicing, Singapore 51%, Mahayana, 33% practicing, China 50%, Mahayana, 20% practicing, South Korea 50%, Mahayana, 23% practicing, Malaysia 21%, Mahayana, 18% practicing, Brunei 17%, Mahayana, 9% practicing, Northern Mariana Islands 16%, Mahayana, 10% practicing, North Korea 14%, Mahayana, 2% practicing. Remarks: East Asian Buddhism is the mixture of Mahayana Buddhism, with Taoism and Confucianism. Because officially communist governments that often forcibly suppressed religious expression still rule a number of traditionally Buddhist countries, and because Buddhists often practice other traditional East Asian religions, the figures could be much higher in these regions. Mahayana Buddhism in Far East Asian countries has a very wide meaning. That is why in such countries as China, Vietnam, North and South Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Singapore, the three religions of Buddhism, Taoism and Confucianism are often all considered at once. This is referred to as a triple religion, with Gautama Buddha in the center, Laozi in the left, and Confucius in the right. In some regions, such as Japan, belief systems vary with differing emphasis on Shintoism, as well as ancestor worship. Additionally, as Buddhism has harmonized with many Asian cultures, it is often regarded as a cultural background or philosophy rather than a formal religion. As such, the Buddhist population is difficult to gauge exactly, but is often nominal. The lesser percentage given is a number of Buddhists who have taken the formal step of going for refuge. And the wider percentage given are informal nominal adherents of combined Buddhism with its related religions and those who subscribe to Buddhism and its philosophies in principle but stop short of any ceremonial or formal practice. See Buddhism by country and irreligion.
Hindus.
Countries with the greatest proportion of Hindus from Hinduism by country, as of 2010. Nepal 81.3%, India 80.5%, Mauritius 54%, Fiji 33.7%, Guyana 28%, Bhutan 25%, Suriname 20%, Trinidad and Tobago 18.2%, United Arab Emirates 15%, Sri Lanka 12.6%, Kuwait 12%, Bangladesh 9.6%, Bahrain 8.1%, Reunion 6.7%, Malaysia 6.3%, Singapore 5.1%, Oman 3%, Seychelles 2.1%, Pakistan 1.8%, Indonesia 1.69%.
Indigenous.
All of the below come from the U.S. Department of State 2009 International Religious Freedom Report, based on the highest estimate of people identified as indigenous or followers of indigenous religions that have been well defined. Due to the syncretic nature of these religions, the following numbers may not reflect the actual number of practitioners. Haiti 50%, Guinea-Bissau 50%, Cameroon 40%, Togo 33%, Côte d'Ivoire 25%, Sudan 25%, Benin 23%, Burundi 20%, Philippines 16%, Burkina Faso 15%, New Zealand 15%, South Africa 15%, Democratic Republic of the Congo 12%, Central African Republic 10%, Gabon 10%, Lesotho 10%, Nigeria 10%, Sierra Leone 10%, Indonesia 9%, Kenya 9%, Palay 9%, Ghana 8.5%, Guinea 5%.
Judaism.
Countries with the greatest proportion of Jews, as of 2010. Israel 75.4%, Palestine 17%, Monaco 2.9%, United States 2.1%, Gibraltar 2.1%, Cayman Islands 1.71%, Netherlands Antilles 1.3%, Canada 1.1%, France 0.75%, Argentina 0.62%, Uruguay 0.5%, Australia 0.5%, Hungary 0.45%, US Virgin Islands 0.45%, Latvia 0.3%, Germany 0.25%, Netherlands 0.2%, New Zealand 0.17%, Ukraine 0.16%, Russia 0.09%.
Baha'is.
Countries with the greatest proportion of Baha'is, as of 2010, within national population. 200,000. Belize 2.5%, Bolivia 2.2%, Zambia 1.8%, Mauritius 1.8%, Guyana 1.6%, Vanuatu 1.4%, Barbados 1.2%, Trinidad and Tobago 1.2%, Panama 1.2%, Kenya 1.0%, Lesotho 0.9%, Papua New Guinea 0.9%, Reunion 0.9%, Chad 0.9%, Botswana 0.8%, Gambia 0.8%, Suriname 0.8%, Congo, Republic of the 0.6%, Solomon Islands 0.6%, Venezuela 0.6%. Sources: Most Baha'i Nations, 2010. Quick lists greater than compare nations greater than religions. The Association of Religion Data Archives. 2010. Retrieved August 20, 2013. Which used the World Christian Database for adherence estimates based on information provided by the World Christian Encyclopedia and World Christian Trends. A source whose only systematic flaw was to consistently have a higher estimate of Christians than other cross-national data sets. See the largest Baha'i communities. Largest religious communities. Adherence.com 2013. Retrieved August 20, 2013. For 2000 estimates among all nations.
Irreligious and atheist.
Countries with the greatest proportion of people without religion, including agnostics and atheists, from a religion by country, as of 2007. China 82%, details, Estonia 71 to 82%, 76, 6%, Japan 64 to 88%, 76%, Sweden 46 to 82%, 64%, Vietnam 44%-81%, 62.5%, Denmark 72%, Macau 60.9%, Czech Republic 54 to 61%, 57.5%, Hong Kong 57%, France 43 to 64%, 53.5%, Norway 31 to 72%, 51.5%, Netherlands 39 to 55%, 47%, Finland 28 to 60%, 44%, United Kingdom 31 to 52%, 41.5%, 25% England and Wales, South Korea 30 to 52%, 41%, Germany 25 to 55%, 40%, Hungary 32 to 46%, 39%, Belgium 42 to 43%, 38.75%, New Zealand 34.7%, Bulgaria 34 to 40%, 37%, Slovenia 35 to 38%, 36.5%, Russia 13 to 48%, 30.5%. Remarks, ranked by mean estimate which is in brackets. Irreligious includes agnostic, atheist, secular believer, and people having no formal religious adherence. It does not necessarily mean that members of this group don't belong to any religion. Some religions have harmonized with local cultures and can be seen as a cultural background rather than a formal religion. Additionally, the practice of officially associating a family or household with a religious institute while not formally practicing the affiliated religion is common in many countries. Thus, over half of this group is theistic and/or influenced by religious principles, but non-religious, non-practicing and not true atheists or agnostics. See spiritual but not religious.
Sikhism.
Countries with the greatest proportion of Sikhs. India 1.9%, United Kingdom 1.2%, Canada 0.9%, Malaysia 0.5%, Fiji 0.3%, Singapore 0.3%, United States 0.2%, New Zealand 0.2%, Australia 0.1%, Italy 0.1%. The Sikh homeland is the Punjab state, in India, where today Sikhs make up approximately 61% of the population. This is the only place where Sikhs are in the majority. Sikhs have emigrated to countries all over the world, especially to English-speaking and East Asian nations. In doing so they have retained, to an unusually high degree, their distinctive cultural and religious identity. Sikhs are not ubiquitous worldwide in the way that adherents of larger world religions are, and they remain primarily an ethnic religion. But they can be found in many international cities and have become an especially strong religious presence in the United Kingdom and Canada.
Taoists, Confucianists, Chinese traditional religionists.
As a spiritual practice, Taoism has made fewer inroads in the West than Buddhism and Hinduism. Despite the popularity of its great classics the I Ching and the Tao Te Ching, the specific practices of Taoism have not been promulgated in America with much success. These religions are not ubiquitous worldwide in the way that adherents of bigger world religions are, and they remain primarily an ethnic religion. Nonetheless, Taoist ideas and symbols such as Taijutsu have become popular throughout the world through Tai Chi Chuan, Qigong, and various martial arts. Taiwan 33 to 80%, China 30%, Hong Kong 28%, Macau 13.9%, Singapore 8.5%, Malaysia 2.6%, South Korea 0.2 to 1%, Vietnam, Philippines 0.01 to 0.05%. The Chinese traditional religion has 184,000 believers in Latin America, 250,000 believers in Europe, and 839,000 believers in North America as of 1998.
Jainism.
India 0.033%, Suriname 0.3%, Fiji 0.2%, Kenya 0.2%.
Mormonism.
The Deseret Morning News LDS Church Almanac gives information on historical membership records of The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The church's reported membership was roughly 15 million at the start of 2013.
Spiritism.
Cuba 10.3%, Jamaica 10.2%, Brazil 4.8%, Suriname 3.6%, Haiti 2.7%, Dominican Republic 2.2%, the Bahamas 1.9%, Nicaragua 1.5%, Trinidad and Tobago 1.4%, Guyana 1.3%, Venezuela 1.1%, Colombia 1.0%, Belize 1.0%, Honduras 0.9%, Puerto Rico 0.7%, Panama 0.5%, Iceland 0.5%, Guadeloupe 0.4%, Argentina 0.2%, Guatemala 0.2%. Source: http://www.theater.com/ Quicklist/ Quicklist_50.asp. Note that all these estimates come from a single source. However, this source gives a relative indication of the size of the Spiritist communities within each country.
By population. Christians.
Largest Christian populations, as of 2011. United States 229,157,250, Brazil 169,213,130, Mexico 106,204,560, Philippines 86,790,000, Nigeria 80,510,000, Russia 67,640,000, China 67,070,000, Democratic Republic of the Congo 63,150,000, France 55,948,600, Italy 55,832,000, Ethiopia 51,477,950, Germany 50,752,580, Colombia 44,502,000, Ukraine 41,973,000, South Africa 40,243,000, Spain 38,568,000, Poland 36,526,000, Argentina 33,497,100, Kenya 33,625,790, United Kingdom 33,200,417.
Muslims.
Largest Muslim populations, as of 2013. Indonesia 206,986,560, Pakistan 180,608,292, India 160,945,000, Bangladesh 132,937,800, Nigeria 80 million, Iran 73,238,340, Egypt 70,056,000, Turkey 70,036,838, Algeria 36,092,810, Morocco 31,351,800, Afghanistan 30,112,680, Sudan 30,064,180, Iraq 29,767,300, Ethiopia 28,120,050, Saudi Arabia 26,624,560, Uzbekistan 25,628,240, Yemen 23,836,523, China 20,095,870, Syria 19,601,750, Malaysia 17,085,402, Russia 16,482,000.
Buddhists.
Largest Buddhist populations, as of 2013.
Hindus.
Largest Hindu populations, as of 2010. India 957,636,314, Nepal 21,354,570, Bangladesh 14,274,430, Indonesia 4,012,470, Pakistan 2,603,895, Sri Lanka 2,554,606, Malaysia 1,700,100, United States 1,543,730, United Arab Emirates 1,239,610, South Africa 749,870, Mauritius 665,820, United Kingdom 630,000, Tanzania 403,570, Canada 333,901, Kuwait 328,440, Singapore 264,370, Fiji 261,097, Trinidad and Tobago 240,100, Myanmar 203,000, Bhutan 177,100, Germany 120,000.
Jews.
Largest Jewish populations, as of 2011. United States 6,588,065, Israel 5,907,500, France 493,600, Canada 375,000, United Kingdom 291,000, Russia 194,000, Argentina 181,800, Germany 119,000, Australia 97,300, Brazil 95,300, Ukraine 70,200, South Africa 67,000, Hungary 48,200, Mexico 39,200, Belgium 30,000, Italy 28,200, Chile 18,500, Turkey 17,400, Uruguay 17,300, Belarus 12,000.
Sikhs.
Largest Sikh populations. India 22,892,600, UK 853,000, Canada 620,200, USA 500,010, Malaysia 120,000, Bangladesh 100,000, Italy 70,000, Thailand 70,000, Myanmar 70,000, United Arab Emirates 50,000, Germany 40,000, Mauritius 37,700, Australia 35,000, Pakistan 29,150, Kenya 20,000, Kuwait 20,000, Philippines 20,000, New Zealand 17,400, Indonesia 15,000, Singapore 14,500.
Baha'is.
Largest Baha'i populations, as of 2010, in countries with a national population. 200,000. India 1,897,651, United States 512,864, Kenya 422,782, Vietnam 388,802, Congo, Democratic Republic of the 282,916, Philippines 275,069, Iran 251,127, Zambia 241,112, South Africa 238,532, Bolivia 215,359, Tanzania 190,419, Venezuela 169,811, Uganda 95,098, Chad 94,499, Pakistan 87,259, Burma, Myanmar, 78,915, Colombia 70,504, Malaysia 67,549, Thailand 65,096, Papua New Guinea 59,898.
Jainism.
As of 2005. India 5,146,697, United States 79,459, Kenya 68,848, United Kingdom 16,869, Canada 12,101, Tanzania 9,002, Nepal 6,800, Uganda 2,663, Burma 2,398, Malaysia 2,052, South Africa 1,918, Fiji 1,573, Japan 1,535, Australia 1,449, Suriname 1,217, Reunion 981, Belgium 815, Yemen 229.